everyone, Pineapple here, back with Miraculous Season 2. Yes, it's been a while, I had the scripts written, but we've been far too busy recently, but I am happy to get back into it. Last time we had a pretty good showing, we're introduced to some new characters, Kagami being the strongest, and our attention span dipped with Prime Queen. But don't worry, it can certainly get worse as we get into our first episode of the video, Season 2, Episode 7, Gigantitan. Hawkmoth akumatizes a fucking baby, 5 out of 10. Yeah, I could just leave it at that, but while that is apt, there is a little more to it than that, I suppose. Well, that was a lot of rhyming. The girls get roped into helping Marinette get a date with Adrian, which isn't the kind of comedy I gel with easily, but Rose and Julika are hilarious this episode. Even Alex gets some great moments, and I can't say the action was bad, even if I was really wanting to use the skip button about every half a minute. Not terrible, but not a lot interesting apart from the gaze.
This afternoon, Buttercup has a photo shoot at the Trocadero Fountains. Adrian.
Next is Episode 8, Dark Owl. Not as bad as Gigantitan, but it does have upsides. The episode focuses on Damocles, who is fancying himself as a bad Batman parody. Well, a bad parody of this world's Batman parody. American hero Night Owl, who is teased here along with Majestia, kinda being teased in Origins. And we'll see them both in the New York special later on. Damocles has a good heart and a robot butler, but is doing more harm than good overall. Ladybug and Cat having to clean up his messes. So they devise a plan. Give him one grand heroic moment, and maybe he'll feel fulfilled, which is an angle to the heroes I really appreciate. When fighting a villain that preys on strong negative emotions, why not try and stop or cushion those feelings before they start? With the help of Alia, our heroes devise a plot to give him his win. But unfortunately, due to a mistake, his identity is revealed and he escapes in shame, leading to Hawkmoth akumatizing him, and after a Clara Nightingale reference, he debuts with a complicated Rube Goldberg trap. Something I'm really appreciating in this season is making Paris feel like a lived-in and planned world, references to Clara or the Tsurugi brand adding well to this. They once again fight in the stadium with some good action and some really dodgy physics, even taking magic into account, but even though they escape his trap, I think he may just be one of the villains who got the closest to taking their Miraculous, which may be something to be proud about. Hawky gets pissed when he's tricked by fake jewelry they were using for the ruse earlier, and Ladybug books it all the way to the school, Dark Owl almost getting her Miraculous again, but she manages to destroy his now fucking creepy looking butler and save the day. The story ends with Damocles becoming a responsible role model, teaching others to call firefighters and such, instead of trying to solve the problem himself. And we get a bit of Marinette and Alia being cute together. So it's got a silly story with a good heart and a much better second half than the first, but it's not my favourite, so I'll give Dark Owl a 7 out of 10. Next up is Glaciator, a pretty strange one. Good looking moments, yet animation issues, a great continuation of the love square without much character growth, but as a whole, it's not bad. The story starts the heroes with a runaway bus, and the hero stopping it just before Gigantitan over here is splattered on the pavement. But thanks to strange model work, August Mum is both walking him and then getting off the runaway bus. How does that work? I thought we only got to alternate universe and timeline stuff next season, and the Paris special, and Ephemeral. Okay, look, basically just not yet. Cat ends up asking Ladybug on a date, even though she tells him she already has plans with friends. She goes out with Alia and Nino and Ivan and Milen to have ice cream at Andre's, who we saw in Bafana. Supposedly he can make you an ice cream representative of your love, and Adrian is going to go with them. But thanks to his unloving father and secretary totally not in love with her boss, he fails to attend, leaving Marinette as the fifth wheel, and he instead uses his Miraculous to set up his date as Cat. You know, the date Ladybug said she was too busy to attend, and then he gets sad she doesn't show up. I'm sorry, but you doomed yourself this time, man. It's not her fault. The couples are getting ice cream tailored to them, and Marinette clearly to the model/cat boy, and after a frankly stupid Adrian fake-out, Marinette refuses the ice cream, causing Andre to have a breakdown. Sorry, Cat, this man is the one that I'm sympathetic for here. He's just trying to make people happy. Also, we see previous couples that he's helped. Why does that guy look like that? And is that August's mum again? Hawkmoth takes advantage of Andre's despair, turning him into Glaciator, and August's mum is with another guy. What the fuck is going on this episode? She's left her baby alone and is sleeping around with multiple men. Best case scenario, they're pulling a Pokemon and it's like all the Nurse Joys or the Officer Jennies. She has like 15 twins and they're each dating someone else. Cat is depressingly taking his date apart while Marinette mourns Adrien not showing up. Wow, you two suck. So they wallow together in a series of shots far too good looking for this stupidity. They share a nice kinship, and his date is suddenly put back together after he took it apart. What the hell is with this episode?
You're only saying that to make me feel better.
Yeah. Look at it!
Cat engages and Marinette transforms, Cat spending his time pissed at Ladybug even though she told him she couldn't make it to the date, and he acknowledged before that it wasn't her fault.
How was your amazing evening with your friends?
What the hell is he talking about?
Cat eventually apologizes, and just to torture him, they have to pretend to be a couple to get close and beat the Akuma. And Ladybug finally has to let him down, telling him vaguely about Adrien, and although he's clearly hurt, he accepts her position, kind of, and decides that eventually a romance may blossom, and although literally on opposite sides of this bridge, they get ice cream tailored to each other again. Okay, so the episode was entertaining, but Jesus, there was a lot wrong here. Not just editing, modelling, but writing-wise too. There was a way to make the feelings here complex and understandable without making them completely contradictory. Also, is it pure coincidence Andre's ice cream matched them perfectly, or does he have some sort of cosmic ability he doesn't strictly know about? Tell me more about this mysteriously magical man.
Magic Chen.
So with all that into account, enjoyment-wise it was definitely a 7, but taking into account its faults, the best I can comfortably give it is a 6. Now we have Sapotis. Another pretty interesting episode, stand out for a few reasons, but on the whole, it's not massively higher in quality. Marinette and Alia are having a girls' night, keeping Alia's little sisters Ella and Etta in bed, these two being absolute nightmare children. Well, I mean, it's not like they kill and bury the family cat, but then again, considering who Alia's dad is, their family cat is a panther, so you know, I'd be more impressed than angry if they managed that. But as Marinette and Alia try to have an important convo on why Alia should stop trying to reveal the heroes' identities for everyone's safety, no idea why she thinks she could keep the secret when she's already been akumatized before. But this convo is rough to see as the twins keep interrupting, Alia having to put them down, in bed, multiple times and punish them, eventually blowing up at them, and this allowing Hockey to akumatize the kiddies who don't understand the concept of reaping what one sows. The Sapotis are basically gremlins right down to the multiplying when night snacking, but the heroes can't take all the clones themselves, so Marinette is pointed towards Master Fu, who carefully allows her to take an extra Miraculous, and she chooses Alia as the new hero, becoming the fox hero of illusions, Rena Rouge. And this is something that I love about the show, the endless combinations of characters in Miraculous. In fact, I think the trailer that I saw for the newest episode of Season 6 is giving us some more of these variations. Alia enjoys her time, kind of, maybe a little bit flirting with Cat Noir, giving Hawkmoth a hate boner. They beat the Sapotis and Alia actually learns her lesson from before as she desperately pleads, like her sisters did, to keep the Miraculous, but thanks to her Kwame tricks realizes that it's more important to keep her word, as she had promised to return the Miraculous upon mission completion. And even though she really wants to tell Marinette the truth, she lies to her about the whole hero thing, although very much wants Marinette's praise to stoke the flames of her ego. Overall, I wasn't enraptured by the episode, but I do have to give props, decent action, a nice hero introduction, and great character work with Alia. But I will only put it just above Glaciator with a 6.5 out of 10. Episode 11 is Gorizilla, in which Gabriel, being the absent father he is, finally realizes something is up with his son, and that he might be Cat Noir. Wait a minute, does that mean the plot might actually be going somewhere? Well, it does, but not in the way to do with Cat Noir. Adrien escapes, and it's only thanks to his Miraculous obsession that Gabriel realizes Adrien is absent. And instead of doing anything about it, he sends the bodyguard, affectionately called Gorilla because I have no idea how to pronounce what the wiki says his actual name is. We get a good example of the vapid advertisement that Adrian models for, which is a strange Chekhov's gun, and as he runs from the gorilla he is followed by a gaggle of creepy stalker fans. Which I suppose Marinette is exempt from because she's cute? This includes this absolute shell of a human being, and the guy dressed as Adrian from Glaciator, who leaks his position repeatedly, Marinette rushing out in her pajamas and managing to run into him, and helps him on the run. Meanwhile, the gorilla is following, and thanks to some purposeful prodding from Gabriel, he is akumatized. Adrian and Marinette's moments are all pretty cute, her managing to speak to him for I think the longest amount of time, with the least amount of screw-ups. He reveals the reason he escaped was to see this one-time screening of a movie with his mother Emily as an actor, which Gabriel has refused to let him watch. But with a lot of King Kong references, Gorizilla kidnaps Adrian, and it's up to Ladybug with some good action and an on-theme Lucky Charm to get Adrian away, his obsessive fan posing as him, allowing him to become Cat, convincing Hawkmoth they can't be the same person. Adrian tells the fan Wham that they could be friends and gives him his very weird email address. Marinette gets a fun little moment with the girls, and Gabriel watches the film with his son, but guilts Adrian into making this whole fiasco his fault.
What a bastard.
And we get to see there is more to his underground lair. A whole nother chamber with a mysterious centerpiece. Who the hell were the contractors who did this, and why the hell did he commission it in the first place? The only plausible explanation is that he akumatized himself and gave himself the power of excavation and interior design. Because how else would this happen? It's not like Batman where he has a butler that used to work for the Secret Service who can just do whatever the plot needs. And it's not like he has some sort of secret cabal of rich people that could probably silence anyone that they got to build this kind of thing. Wait, what do you mean that's plausible? So there was a lot good here with Marinette and Adrian, even good stuff when it comes to Emily, but once again, Hawkmoth looks like a chump. So it gets matched to last episode with a 6.5 out of 10. These episodes have been pretty solid, but there are a lot of kinks that need working out. Finally for this video is Captain Hardrock. And what a surprise, Gabriel's being an emotionally abusive prick again. He won't let Adrian out of the house because his arbitrary piano standards haven't been met, so Adrian is not allowed to go out with his friends on today's Paris-wide music festival. Some of Marinette's classmates are setting up their own band on the Kafen houseboat, supervised by anarchist pirate too deep in her roleplay, Anarcha Kafen. Many of the students are musically talented, and after realizing Adrian isn't making it, Marinette helps Anarcha and runs into Julika's brother Zen Heartthrob Luca, who pretty quickly bonds with the Bluenet even if he doesn't hold a candle to Adrian. Luca is a pretty interesting character, and I'd argue becomes one of the more interesting, if easily hateable. His whole deal with Marinette allowing him to appear more regularly than other side characters like his sister, or at least have more of a focus. The stuff between them is nice, and I once again ask myself if a character is low-key autistic or magical, as Luca somehow has the ability to interpret and play the songs in people's hearts, which I think is less literal and more he can hear the non-diegetic music. Plag starts to be legitimately funny. Crazy, right? But of course the Akuma has to come into play, so after some good old-fashioned public disturbance, Roger comes to the boat to tell everyone off, getting into a fight with Anarcha and getting her turned into Captain Hardrock, who seeks to take revenge on all the nearby musicians, and of course goes for Jagged first. Now we don't know why yet, but that's some interesting foreshadowing. I like the boat design and her costume is fine, but the worst part is her dialogue. Seriously, her calling her chain powers happens so often and is so repetitive, I feel like getting whatever kind of lobotomy that I'm told they gave Ariana Grande in Victorious. Eventually, with Lucas' help, Marinette gets away and the heroes battle Hardrock. The action is decent, but once again there are elements that are painfully repetitive. With Adrian, he plays with Gabriel this time, the father then allowing him to leave the house. And he makes it to the boat, Alia sowing the seeds of Marinette choosing between them, and the band, now named as they will be from now, Kitty Section, with Rose on point with vocals, and Luca, Adrian, Julika and Ivan on instruments. So that was Captain Hardrock. Once again, not a bad episode, but there was a fair bit that I didn't like. Plag actually got to be funny, Luca's introduction was good, but about Anarcha, you know, the focus character, I couldn't care less, which is weird because I really like the other Kafens. Marinette and Luca were good together, but I didn't really get anything from Adrian, so Captain Hardrock is unfortunately getting a 5.5 out of 10. Not as bad as Gigantitan, but lacking the nice emotional moments of Gorizilla, Sapotis, and Glaciator. So while we were certainly given some interesting moments, even a new hero, our showing just wasn't as great as last time, but I'm hoping we can get back into some better episodes our next time around. In fact, I feel pretty optimistic about it. Thank you everybody for watching my review of these episodes of Miraculous Ladybug. Please like the video if you liked it, comment down below if you wish, consider subscribing to the channel, and if you do, ring the notification bell so that you're told every single time that I make an upload. Once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next review. Bye!
Toast. A little piece of toast. Because there's so much to choose from. There's brown bread, white bread, all sorts of wholemeal bread. It comes in funny packages with writing on the side.